We are here today in Istanbul. Joining us is Mr. Mehmet Akif, Secretary General of the Insurers Association of Turkey. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for being here, and I would like to ask you first and foremost to comment a little bit upon the current state of the Turkish insurance market.
Thank you. Yes, we already finished 2015. First of all, I want to give information about there is 61 companies operating actively in Turkish market. Half of them, almost 37 of them are operating in non-life, and the others operate in the life sector. And both consolidated results at the end of 2015. There is a very good news about the growth rate. This average growth rate was 19% in 2015. When we look at the last 5 years or last 10 years, we can tell that there is no any progress or development problem in terms of the sector. The sector is growing very fast, very steadily. But the problem is about the profit size. Life companies are profitable, which made $600 million profit at the end of the last year. But the non-life companies are not profitable, mainly driven by the traffic, MTPL. Because MTPL line of business is not profitable last 10 years. We made almost $2.5 billion losses in this line of business.
So MTPL is the main losses maker. But how did this particular line of business evolve over the past few years?
MTPL? Yeah, MTPL is every year is increasing about the losses. Every year is bigger than the previous year.
Why?
The main reason is, as you know, that MTPL gives a coverage for the bodily injured and hospital expenses and the material coverage. In Turkey, this regulation is regulated by in highway traffic law. Unfortunately, this law is not up to date, and especially conditions out of the coverage are within the coverage by the court's decision, because in the law decisions are not clear, definitions are not clear. So in this kind of gaps, the court decisions replace this law, and then we as a sector we start to pay that we shouldn't pay. So this increase our cost, increase our claims. This is the one reason. And let me give you an example. Drivers can get claims or indemnity by their even own defects, for example. If somebody gets alcohol and cause a, for example, accident, MTPL is paying the third-party indemnity, but the court says you have to pay the driver itself even if he gets own defects.
Yeah, this is a little bit unusual.
Unusual, and it's out of the liability, soul and the liability coverage. So that's the one reason. The second reason, the calculation of the loss of support and calculation of the permanent disability, there is no any method, there is no any standard method. And the companies calculate according to actuarial basis, and the courts calculate according to their experts' assumption. And these assumptions sometimes and mainly is not fit the actuarial basis. So they are calculating more. But our aim is to give the correct indemnity, not give too much indemnity, because when we pay too much indemnity, then we are increasing 18 million drivers, traffic prices. We are not a central bank, so that's another problem.
So this actually translated into a price increase on the MTPL market?
Yes, and then last 10 years we did not, especially last 5 years, the price increased 54%, but the claims indemnity amounts increased 300%. So the price increase satisfied the cost of the amount of the indemnity. So the last year, at the end of 2015 and the beginning of 2016, the sector almost twice doubled the price average.
So in this context, are there companies that want to get out of the MTPL line, or maybe some new ones want to enter, even though the situation is not that good?
Exactly. I mean, most of the companies wanted to decrease their share of the MTPL production in the total production, and some of them obtained. I mean, it's very because the companies are producing in this line of business started to make losses. So that's a tendency actually.
Has anybody decided to leave the MTPL market?
Um, right now, officially, according to law, I mean, nobody canceled their license, but they are using some different methods. You know, they are following the high-level price and lowering the commissions and etc. But this is, you know, compulsory. If somebody apply you, you have to pay it. I mean, you have to give it. You have to print the policy. Yeah.
You mentioned earlier during the conference something about some changes regarding the highway traffic law. Which are those changes, and what do you expect the effects will be in the near future?
As I said a little bit ago, the problem driven by the traffic was three. One is we were paying some indemnity out of the coverage. And second one, the calculation methodology was not. There was no any standard calculation methodology. And the third one, the damage relatives people was going to the court before the company. Before they apply the company, they just going to directly to the courts and by the lawyers. And then what caused this? Maybe if they apply us, they will get their money quickly and without paying any commission. But when they go to the court, they were giving commission to the lawyers, and they were waiting 3 and 4 years. So there were three main problems. And last week, as an association, as a sector, we were focused on last 10 months in order to figure out this problem. And we visited where the parliament and politician, and we actually create a public opinion. And then the politician gave us support us. And then last week we changed this regulation. We'll figure out this problem I mentioned.
For bodily injuries, there are mainly two components: moral claims for pain and suffering, and loss of income or loss of support. Which ones are greater right now? I mean, for which ones do the company pay more money?
Actually, in Turkish regulation, we don't pay non-pecuniary claims. We're just paying for the injury, bodily injured, and permanent disability. So it's much more than the material coverage. Yeah, it's too much.
Okay, trying to get a little bit away from the MTPL topic because almost everywhere in Europe it creates problems. Life insurance, how is it developing in Turkey?
Life insurance is increasing very well. It already increased 15% last year. But the problem in the life insurance, unfortunately, maybe 99% of life insurance linked to the credits based on the individual loans and selling by banks distribution channel. In Turkey, there is no accumulation life products. So the life products, including risk basis, risk coverage, just based on the individual loan. So just growing with the unfortunately loan. On the accumulation side, accumulation life side, in Turkey there is a private pension system. So as a Turkish system, we chose the private pension, not the accumulation life products. That's why life products are growing only by growing the individual loans.
How about some unit linked? Do Turkish people have appetite for a little bit of risk associated with the life insurance?
Actually, banks are giving mandatory this product because banks want to protect their loans. So whenever somebody apply the individual loan, they have to make this product. Even the regulation is not compulsory, but the banks, in their own process, they are making mandatory to take this product. Unit-linked products, integrated the loans.
Understand. I also saw during your presentation that health insurance has a quite high premium share in the market. Why is that?
Actually, it is not that the level that we desired. It's maybe 12% right now of the total premium is coming from health. There is some traditional like risk basis product in this line of business. Not just a health product, but there are some risk, some critical illnesses, and this kind of traditional products, increasing the premium of the line of business. But on the health branch, I mean, as a Turkish sector, almost half of our production is coming from motor branch, including MTPL and Casco. And we are saying our per premium is very low, $150. So we have to increase this penetration rate. Our premium to GDP is 1.5%. Compared to the developed countries, too low. Compared to the world, it's too low. So as a country, as an association, we have to increase this. So the motor is already, grow. So we have to increase other line of business. Health is one of them. So we believe that complementary health product. Because right now, private health policies cover just 2 million people. And we have 80 million people, so because it's very expensive, and our governmental health system is very actually strong, but the government try to transfer some their cost to the private sector. So this complementary health product is media system between private and the government system. So I believe that it will be grow in the near future.
Okay, so what I understand that is Turkey is quite actually a price-driven market from the consumer's perspective.
Yeah, you're right. The consumers are very careful about the price. They are very conscious about the price, but maybe due to penetration rate is very low. Maybe they don't know the product very well. They don't know the price very well. I mean, they are very sensitive to the MTPL price, but they don't know how much a risk, critical illnesses product, and how much a PA product. Actually, it's not too much. So they don't know the price. And as an association, every time I'm telling that my colleagues and to the general managers, we have to introduce the products and their price to the customers, because they are supposing that it's too much, too expensive, but they are sensitive. When they hear that the price are not too much high as much as they imagine, they start to buy some products. So I'm closing the reverse way on this problem.
Okay, so apart from the changes in the traffic law, what other major changes are to be expected on the Turkish market?
I mean, based on the regulation side or generally? Right now on the private pension system, there is an auto-enrollment system. It will almost start in May or in June. I mean, the regulation will pass from Parliamentum. So in the private pension, last 12 years, we came almost $17 billion total amount of the funds. And there became 6 million people, participants. But right now we need another story on this. And the auto-enrollment project will be started. Every single person will start the business life, have to participate this private pension. And this is one area. And the second one, for example, I'm thinking SMEs is very important for the Turkish economy. Actually, it's very important for the world economy. You know, SMEs are producing 60% of the total economy. So, but their consciousness, their insurance consciousness is not too much. They don't know. They are not institutional corporate. They don't have corporate governance too much. So if we introduce the products and if we get them in consciousness about this product, I think they will get some insurance product. Because right now half of them, they don't have any insurance product. So it's another potential area for the Turkish market to go to increase.
About the market overall profitability, how do you expect it to evolve during the near future?
Because we have a very young population, and they are also very familiar to the digital channel. First of all, we have to put a new distribution channel as a digital channel, and in order to minimize our costs. And then we have to make tailor-made products for these young people, and then we have to reach them, because these guys, we don't have to wait to reach by them, but we have to reach to them. I think if we increase the consciousness of the insurance, and if we put in the education system about the insurance, and also if we put other distribution channels like banks, which are profitable, enter the system, enter the game, and then the companies will become more profitable, and the increase rate penetration rate will be increased, and this is overall will help to decrease the overall prices, and then we can expand the price to the whole market.
Okay, I hope your objectives will be reached. We wish you the best of luck, and thank you for your answers, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much.